This video will showcase a handful of albums I picked up between December 2022 and April 2023. A few off of Discogs, some were gifts from friends, and others were found in record shops. The first of which comes from Analogue Productions, a reissue of Miles Davis Quintet's Cookin with the Miles Davis Quintet. This was recorded famously on October 26th in 1956 and released in 1957. It was one of 4 albums recorded over the span of just a couple days in Rudy Van Gelder's New Jersey studio for Miles Davis to get out of his prestige contract to move over to Columbia. This is the first of the 2 great quintets for Miles Davis, featuring Philly Joe Jones on drums, Red Garland on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, and John Coltrane on tenor saxophone with Davis on trumpet. This is a recent reissue from Analogue Productions. This was long out of print. It's a single disc, 33 RPM mono cut on 180 gram vinyl with a tip-on jacket from Stout and Printing. Next is a gift from my friend Mark in Rochester from the vinyl community. Thank you so much to Mark for this kind gift. This is the 2017 reissue of the Dangerous Liaisons film score from pianist Thelonious Monk on the Impex label. This is a fantastic recording and a beautiful performance. Mark has a channel called Mad for Vinyl. I'll link that in the description below if you want to check out some of his other videos. Next is one of my favorite classical albums. This is The Sound of Stokowski and Wagner with the Symphony of the Air and Chorus. Originally a RCA Living Stereo and reissued here in 2019 from Analogue Productions. This is an immense recording, massive dynamics. The Tristan and Isolde piece is one of my absolute favorite pieces of music, featuring Henry Schumann on the English horn. Next is a contemporary electronic experimental album from the Scottish cellist Oliver Coates. This was released in 2020 on RVNG International. It's called Skins and Slime. This is incredible music. Coates has been getting a lot of notoriety recently for a lot of his film scores, most notably 2022's After Sun, as well as The Stranger. Highly recommended if you're into kind of left of center, more experimental, minimal instrumental music. Next is a beautiful release from Stan Getz. This is a 77 reissue from Verve Records Japan, originally recorded in 1956, with this beautiful artwork, very cool West Coast jazz from the 50s, and this is a mono reissue, again from 1977. I've been looking high and low for this for a few years and finally found a copy on Discogs that was in good condition. Very recommended listening. Next is one of my favorite composers, the godfather of the tape loop, William Basinski. Here a collaboration with Janek Schaefer on Reflection. This came out last fall. This is the metallic silver edition with black vinyl put out by temporary residents. My friend Rutger Zordervelt did the design on this, and my other friend Raphael Irasari did the mastering. This is primarily tape loops, hypnotic, not quite as long form or dark as some of his previous work. Highly recommended for active listening. Next is one of my favorite saxophone players. This is Nice and Cool from Gene Emmons. This is the double 45 RPM cut that Kevin Gray and Steve Hoffman did at Acoustic, and this was graciously given to me as a gift from Baraka P-Dub. Thank you, Paul, for this. Very unexpected, and so happy to add this one to my collection. I'm also looking forward to the reissue of Boss Tenor, which has been a missing hole in my Gene Ammons collection for some time. Highly recommended if you're into Ben Webster, Coleman Hawkins, and the like. Just before the Christmas holidays, I was in Houston for a day and had the chance to meet up with Paul Wester. We went to a hi-fi shop called 3MA Audio, who had just purchased a large jazz and classical collection, a lot of really beautiful albums, this being one. This is the 200 gram Quiex Classic Records pressing of Jutta Hipp with Zoot Sims. This was from 2003 and beautiful condition, originally recorded in 1956 by Rudy Van Gelder, of course with this iconic Reed Miles cover design. I previously had the Blue Note 80 version of this, which was fine, but this classic pressing by Bernie Grunman just totally blows it out of the water. One of my favorite jazz albums in my collection. On the same day, we also popped into Cactus Music in Houston, and up on the wall I noticed this album, Jimmy Smith, Midnight Special, one I'd been looking for a long time, long out of print. This version is from 2010, a double 45 RPM cut. I love Jimmy Smith's organ playing. I only have a couple of his other releases from the Blue Note Classic series, And this one has been on my list for quite some time and seems to be elusive. Kind of shocked to see it in such good condition. It seemed virtually unplayed, even though it was opened. Just expansive, wide sound. Again, Rudy Van Gelder in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey. This was originally recorded in 1960. Back to the West Coast in a great record shop I found in Huntington Beach, Blind Dog Records. The proprietor there has a massive collection of still sealed and lightly used jazz and classical recordings from Analogue Productions, Classic Records, Speaker's Corner, virtually stuff you can't really find anywhere else. I don't understand how he has all these, but I was happy to find this Duke Jordan, Flight to Jordan. This is an album I wasn't really familiar with. I've never really seen it talked about here on YouTube or in the vinyl community, and didn't know much about it. I took a listen to it on one of his systems and was kind of blown away. Of course, with Analogue Productions, you know you're going to get a beautiful pressing, but the music itself, the recording and the performance is second to none. Originally from 1961 on Blue Note and remastered from the original tapes by Kevin Gray. This is a shining record in my jazz collection for sure. And lastly, also found at Blind Dog was a sealed copy of this 2010 3-LP box set. It's the Stravinsky Ballets with Intl Dorati conducting both the London Symphony Orchestra and the Minneapolis Symphony Orchestra, featuring The Rite of Spring, Firebird, and Petrushka. These were cut at Emil Berliner Studios and pressed at Palace. They're all housed in this lovely box that includes a booklet. That's all for now. Thank you all for watching and following along. More very soon. Take care.